Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Tamal Krishna Goswami Iti Namne Ma Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namne Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pacharane Nirvisheshunyavadi Paschata Deshtarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So I've made some notes, so I'll basically go through there as well as through the pages of Bhagavad Gita. I have a bad memory, so I'm not able to memorize verses. So I'll be reading there. So to start with, Bhagavad Gita is panacea for all problems, for all times. It's all problems for all times. It gives a crystal clear understanding of the fundamental and essential truths of life, including who we are, what the true goal of life is, and how we can attain that permanent happiness. That means the ultimate goal, how we can go back to Godhead. The word strength can be defined as the ability to deal with difficult situations or maintain a moral or intellectual position in difficult situations. We know that everyone, including devotees, have to face some situations, unprecedented, and we have to deal with that. The whole world is facing difficult situations. As you know, it's getting worse. So what strength we can take from our scriptures, especially Bhagavad Gita, to deal with that? There are different kinds of situations, difficult problems, a variety of them, which deals with the physical, mental, and also spiritual difficulties that we face. The physical ones are related to the body and our senses. The mental deals with the mind and intellectual. And we have to deal with these situations different ways. So we'll try to look at some of the strengths found in Bhagavad Gita to help us deal with them. Where's my page going? Right. The basic problems that we all face in this material world, is birth, death, old age, and disease. These are the key ones. And how to deal with that, Bhagavad Gita is the best scripture that we can look forward to find solutions. Arjuna faced the same dilemma in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, as we all know. Bhagavad Gita 8:15 says, even Krishna mentions that this place is full of miseries. Mam upetya punarjanma dukhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gatim. The translation is, Krishna says, after attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection. So this material world is full of miseries, as we all have seen, experienced, and we are still seeing the whole world is suffering. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, since the temporary material world is full of miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death, naturally, he who achieves the highest perfection and attains the supreme planet, that's Krishna Lok or Golok Vrindavan, does not wish to return. So Krishna is giving us some clue here. And that is, we have to leave this material world. This is temporary and it's full of miseries. And those people, those great souls, they are Mahatmas who go to the spiritual world, and that is highest perfection. How do they go there? And that we'll look at later on, how they can achieve the highest perfection. That's the purpose of human form of life, to achieve that perfection. Further, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, the Mahatmas receive transcendental message from the realized devotees and thus gradually develop devotional service in Krishna consciousness and become so absorbed in transcendental service that they no longer desire elevation to any of the material planets, from the highest planet of Lord Brahma down to the lower planetary systems. They don't desire any of them. They only want Krishna and Krishna's association and nothing else. And that is the highest perfection. This verse specifically mentions the personalist devotees of Supreme Lord. So these devotees in Krishna consciousness achieve the highest perfection of life. In other words, they are the supreme souls, they are the Mahatmas. And Srila Prabhupada is trying to help us to become Mahatmas so that we can achieve the highest perfection. And we'll look at how Arjuna faced the dilemma in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 7. Karpanya dosho fate sabhava prichhami tvam dharma samudha cheta yatre yasyan nishchitam bruhitan me shishyate sadi mam tvam prapannam. Translation. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I'm asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So, Arjuna, Krishna's very dear friend, was prepared to go to battle. And when he was in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and it was time to start the battle, as you know, he wanted to see whom he was fighting against. So asked Lord Krishna to take him in the middle of the two armies. And he observed the people on the other side, his enemies, so-called enemies. And they were his grandfather, very dear grandfather, Bhishma Pitama, his revered Guru Dronacharya, his cousins, and many other relatives all were there. And while observing all this, then something came into his mind. He became very emotional. And he told Krishna that he shouldn't be fighting. He can't kill these people. They are his kinsmen. How can he do that? So he decided ultimately not to fight and totally surrendered to Krishna. And he said, now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered. Please instruct me. So this is the way we should approach when we face difficulties and problems. We should go to a trusted devotee, a senior devotee, doesn't have to be really senior, and reveal our mind and share. The best thing to do is, since you have Guru Maharaj, and I understand that Mahavishnu Goswami, like Tamal Krishna Goswami, they are no more here in physically, but they have senior God, they are disciples, very senior disciples. So approach them, tell your difficulty, and they are going to find resolutions for you, solutions for you. They are going to suggest you. So it's the best thing to do. And those who have their spiritual masters around, he is the best person to be approached regarding our difficulties. So as I mentioned, in the present moment, the whole world is confused. They are lost, they are frustrated. And these people are trying to look for solutions. And there are organizations and counselors who are helping these people to find to solve their material problems or whatever problems they have. And to some extent, they are able to help them out. But it is all temporary. And some people don't have anywhere to look for support, so they just go to places where they get into more difficulties. For example, some people take intoxication to forget all the difficulties, and they get involved in gambling, illicit life. They go to nightclubs and try to, or get into the internet and try to find solutions. But these are the vices of Kali Yuga, and they get entangled more and more. Instead of coming out of it, they get more and more entangled into it and make matters worse. So this is the current situation with most of the people of the world. So the weaknesses that Arjuna faced is very similar to current people's weakness. What are the causes of this weakness? Why do we have this weakness of heart? The main reason is because of ignorance. We don't have the right knowledge. We don't have the right knowledge. And we, due to ignorance, we want to enjoy this material world for our own sense pleasure. We want to do that. And while we are doing this, enjoying this material world for our own sense pleasure, in the course of enjoyment, we get attached to certain things, such as family, our assets, house, bank balance, cars, and so on. We get attached to this. And the other main reason is that we don't know that Krishna is the person who is the Purusha, who is the enjoyer, the supreme enjoyer. And we are part and parcel of him. And if we serve Krishna, then we'll have that fulfillment, then the pleasure. Because Krishna is the source and the reservoir of all pleasure. And we get pleasure from him by serving him. So that knowledge is not there. I'll go on to types of weaknesses that we have. We have physical and sensual weakness. These are all related to the body I'm talking about. Physical and sensual weakness. We have mental weakness and also intellectual weakness. The physical means inability to enjoy through senses. Mental is inability to comprehend situations. Situations arise in our life and we are not able to comprehend why this is happening to us. What is the solution, best solution? And intellectual means inability to discriminate and take appropriate actions or decisions. That's intellectual weakness. So the bodily weakness, all of these are related to the body. We can overcome these through medication, through proper diet, through counseling, but the results are all temporary. They're not going to last. It's not solution forever. The other weakness is a spiritual weakness. And as I said before, it is caused by ignorance. It's caused by ignorance. And that means we are not aware of our real identity and the purpose of human form of life. We are not aware. And that's ignorance. We don't have the transcendental knowledge. So there are two paths that we follow, or the people follow. One is called Pravritti Marg, and that's path of attachment and entanglement. Pravritti Marg. And that means getting material education, jobs, and then you try to earn money, have a family, and enjoy life independently. Do what pleases you the most, listen to your heart. All these things are actually pravritti marg. You get into entanglement more and more. And this will cause a repeated cycle of birth and death. That's pravritti marg. And the other one is called nivritti marg. And that's the path of detachment. Path of detachment. And that is bhakti yoga. Through bhakti yoga and the knowledge from Bhagavad Gita, you follow nivritti marg. So what are the solutions for all this entanglement? Spiritual weakness, bodily weakness, we have. Then what are the solutions in Bhagavad Gita? That's what we are going to look at now. The basic one is our real identity. We we learn from Bhagavad Gita that we are not this body. First thing, that's a basic truth. We are not this body, but spirit, soul. We are Jivatma. And we are part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna says, Mamai Vansho, Jivaloke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, Manashtani Indriyani, Prakriti Sthani Karshati. We are part and parcel of Krishna. So that's the first thing. We must know our real identity. We are not this body, we are Jivatma. And what is the work of Jivatma? Purpose? We have to serve Krishna. And the second thing is purpose of human life. We know we are Jivatma, then what is the purpose of human life? The purpose of human life, as everyone knows, is to develop unconditional love for Shri Radha and Krishna. Develop that unconditional love for Shri Radha and Krishna. And that's the purpose of human life, means going back. When we develop that love, we are able to go back to Godhead at the end of life. So that's the purpose. And the next one is how to attain that purpose. By transcendental knowledge given by Lord Shri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. That's how we can do it. And Krishna advises us to take shelter of his devotee, a pure devotee of Krishna. In 434, Lord Krishna says, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya udyakshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshina. He says, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So that's where the whole spiritual life begins for a devotee. By surrendering oneself to a spiritual master, a pure devotee of Krishna. Since everything comes from Krishna, their strength also comes from Krishna. For example, the light and the heat, where does it come from? It comes from fire. And where does the fire gets its energy from? The light and the heat, it gets from the sun. And the sun gets its heat and light, this energy, from Krishna himself, from the Brahma Jyoti, from the effulgence of Krishna's body. Similarly, the strength that we have comes from Krishna. In 10.8, I think, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhaho matha sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. He says, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me, he says. Everything comes from him. And the wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worships me with all their hearts. So strength also comes from Krishna. I will discuss some of the devotees of the Lord who got strength from Krishna while they were in difficult situations. The first one is Prahlad Maharaj. As you know that Prahlad Maharaj faced so many tribulations from his own father, Hiranyakashipu. And Prahlad was a devotee of Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu, and he received protection and strength from him to tolerate all these atrocities by his father. His father Hiranyakashipu tried to kill him so many in different ways, but all the time, because he was fully surrendered to the Lord and he had full faith in the Lord, he was protected. He was given strength by Lord Vishnu to tolerate all this. And ultimately, as you know that, Lord Krishna came in the form of Lord Narasimha to save him. So one is Prahlad Maharaj. Is there a possibility, Prabhu, to look at Srimad on the screen? Can anyone share this? Srimad Bhāgavatam 787.
Sure, Prabhu. Sure, Prabhu. Just 1 second.
Yeah, thank you. Krishna.
Seven, 8, 7.
Yeah, 7.8.7. Thank you.
Is it okay, Prabhuji? Can you see it?
Yeah, can you go to translation only? Scroll. There you are. Prahlad Maharaj said, "My dear king, the source of my strength, of which you are asking, is also the source of yours." He is speaking to his father. When he asks, "Where do you get all this protection from? Where do you get this strength from?" So he's replying, "My dear king, the source of my strength, of which you are asking, is also the source of yours. Indeed, the original source of all kinds of strength is one. Is not only your strength or mine, but the only strength for everyone. Without him, no one can get any strength. Whether moving or not moving, superior or inferior, everyone, including Lord Brahma, is controlled by the strength of the Supreme Personality of Godhead." And can you scroll down for Bhagavad Gita 1041? Yes. Does it have translation for that? Yad Yad Vibhuti. Yes, it's there. 1041 Yad Yad Vibhuti Matsatvam Srimad Urjitam Eva Va Tad Tad Eva Gachatvam Mamatejo Amsha Sambhavam. Know that all beautiful, glorious, and mighty creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. So that's Lord Krishna's energy. So everything emanates from him. So that's what Prahlad Maharaj is saying. So he's getting his strength in the purport. It says that this is confirmed by Prahlad Maharaj. If one sees extraordinary strength or power anywhere, it is derived from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And here, to give an example, there are different grades of fire, but all of them derive heat and light from the sun, as I mentioned. Similarly, all living entities, big or small, are dependent on the mercy of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So one's only duty is to surrender, for one is a servant and cannot independently attain the position of master. One can attain the position of master only by mercy of the master, not independently. So unless one understands this philosophy, he's still Amura. In other words, he's not very intelligent. And so that's an example of Prahlad Maharaj. He got his strength from Krishna himself, and he was able to tolerate all the calamities given by his father. Prabhuji, can you do the next one, which is 8.3.28? We'll look at Gajendra. 8.3.28. Thank you. Translation. As you know, the Katha of Gajendra, the elephant, the king of the elephant, he was very powerful, very strong, yet he was not able to defeat the crocodile which attacked him in the lake when he went for a bath in the lake. And as mentioned in the Srimad Bhāgavatam, they fought for almost 1,000 years. And gradually, the strength of the elephant was diminishing because crocodile was more strong in water. It was water animal. And the elephant, the king Gajendra, was the land animal. He couldn't handle and he couldn't fight. So he tried his best. No one could save him, his family members, and he himself. And finally, what did he do? He offered a lotus flower to the Lord and prayed. He prayed. There are lots of prayers, beautiful prayers by Gajendra. My Lord, you are the controller of formidable strength in three kinds of energy. You appear as the reservoir of all sense pleasure and the protector of the surrendered souls. You possess unlimited energy, but you are unapproachable by those who are unable to control their senses. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you again and again. So Gajendra, when he saw that he couldn't fight with the crocodile anymore, then he offered beautiful prayers to the Lord. And as you know, the Lord then reciprocated by killing the crocodile. Now, can we just scroll up, please? We'll read something from the purport. Yes, purport. Attachment, greed, and lust are three formidable forces that prevent one from concentrating upon the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These forces act because the Supreme Lord does not like to be realized by non-devotees and atheists. When one surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Lord, these impediments are withdrawn and can realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the Lord is the protector of the surrendered souls. One cannot become a devotee until one surrenders unto the Lord's lotus feet. Then the Lord gives one the intelligence from within by which one can return home back to Godhead. So these are forces that allow the people to remain in this material world. Attachment to material things, greed, and lust. Very formidable. And they prevent us from making progress in our spiritual life. But once we surrender to our spiritual master, who is a pure devotee of Krishna and the Lord, and then we are protected and we are able to make progress and ultimately go back to Godhead. Thank you, Prabhu. Some other examples are like Dhruva Maharaj. He also got his strength from a devotee of the Lord, that's Narad Muni, who asked him to do tapasya and chant the holy names of the Lord, mantra. And the Lord appeared to him and gave him strength. As you know, Dhruva Maharaj said, I was doing this tapasya and trying to get something material. But once I have seen you, I have been blessed by you, I had no more desire for all that material things. I just want to be your humble servant, a devotee of yours. But the Lord was very pleased with him. And although he didn't ask for anything material after that, but the Lord gave him Dhruva, which is eternal, still existing. And another example that I would like to give is Hanuman. Hanuman is famous for his Dasa bhav, serving Lord Ramchandra. And where did he get his strength from? He got his strength from the Lord himself. By being such a nice devotee of the Lord, he served him with his life and soul. As you know, almost half of Ramayana is his katha. Hanumanji, a great devotee of Lord Ramchandra. So these are some of the examples of great devotees who serve the Lord unconditionally. And that is what is required of us. And they had unconditional love for the Lord. And they were able to perform such and able to withstand so many difficulties and problems in their lives. And in current situation, our Srila Prabhupada is great example. And he's a pure devotee of the Lord. By following the instructions of his Guru Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he prepared himself for almost 20 years and then went to America to follow the instructions of his Guru Maharaj, to share Krishna consciousness with the Western countries, starting from America. And he went through so many difficulties. But he had full faith in his Guru and full faith in Lord Krishna. And he was able to achieve what no ambassador of Sanatana Dharma has ever achieved. Srila Prabhupada, by his mercy, we are here in Krishna consciousness. We understand the purpose of life. All his teachings are from Bhagavad Gita. The purpose of life and how to perform devotional service is all in his purpose in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhāgavatam and so on. We are indebted to him eternally, to Srila Prabhupada and his disciples, who are our gurus. We are indebted to him. So, in Bhagavad Gita, almost every verse gives us strength and show us the knowledge to serve the Lord. And we'll look at 1873. Prabhuji, can you please, Bhagavad Gita 1873, I'll try to conclude. Yes, thank you. Arjuna Vacha. Nasta moha smritir labdha tvat prasadan maya chuta istito asmi gata sandeha karishye vachnam tava. Translation. Arjuna said, "My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy, and I am now firm and free from doubt, and am prepared to act according to your instructions." So we started with the verse 2.7, where Arjuna said, "Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weaknesses. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and surrendered soul, soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me." And Sri Krishna instructed Arjuna in 18 chapters. There's so much knowledge in this Bhagavad Gita for us to go through and try to apply them in our lives and study them as you have been doing it. Once you study and then try to apply in your lives, then that's called realized knowledge, and that's the best. And once you have realized it, you know it, then you can share this knowledge, which WECAN group is doing very, very successfully. And thank you to Ambarish Prabhu for leading this group, this organization, this forum, sharing Krishna consciousness with so many devotees. I'm sure your Guru Maharaj is so pleased with you. And he's going to empower you more and more so that you are able to continue with this service. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, two things we have to do is Vaishnava Seva and Nam Sankirtan. Prabhu ka hai, I can't remember the shlok. Prabhu ka hai Vaishnava Seva Nam Sankirtan, Dui kare shigra pave Shri Krishna Charan. And that's what Prabhu is doing, Vaishnava Seva and Nam Sankirtan. Vaishnava Seva in so many different ways, and Nam Sankirtan through prasad distribution, chanting the holy names, giving discourses, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, doing Kirtan, that's Nam Sankirtan, and serving the Vaishnavas. You're serving all of you in such a nice way, and and giving you the opportunity to come closer to Krishna. And as Krishna says, that person is more dear to me than anyone else who shares this knowledge to others. So Prabhuji, thank you very much for allowing me to say a few words on the strength of Bhagavad Gita. It has so much strength that it can change our lives, and we can achieve the ultimate goal of human form of life, which is Krishna Prem. So thank you so much, and we can have some discussion.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for your nice realization. Indeed, you are a teacher, you know. Even in profession, you are a teacher.
I have been here.
It can be seen, you know, in your class. It's very nice. Thank you very much for your nice realizations and also for your encouraging words. This particular team are from the leaders team of different levels, you know, from the intermediate level and senior level, but the leaders, you know. And now devotees like Avinash Prabhu, Shital Prabhu, Sanjay Prabhu, they have their own teams now. So we
Right.
take some of them and bring here, and they also have their programs running.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah.
So now I would encourage any one of you, all of you, to have any questions, to please raise your question to Bilwamangal Prabhu. This is a very good opportunity to clarify your doubts. You know? Hare Krishna.
Any comments you can add up?
Hare Krishna, Bilwamangal Prabhu. Thank you for a very nice class, Prabhuji. It was very, very, very informative. And yeah, I've certainly learned a lot from the nice references that you gave from Bhagavad Gita. Prabhuji, I have a question. As you very nicely mentioned about finding strength in Bhagavad Gita and examples of all these authority figures that have found strength in Bhagavad Gita with references. If you wouldn't mind sharing, I would like to know how did you find strength in Bhagavad Gita? And if you could give an example or two to inspire us, that'd be very nice for you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Krishna. Before joining this Krishna consciousness movement, the first time I met devotees, they gave me a Bhagavad Gita, a Hindi one, that's years back. And I opened it, looked at it, it was so difficult for me. I just closed it and put it at my altar with, covered it with red cloth. And I wasn't at that time, but that was my first meeting with the devotees. And later on, another group of devotees came, and they held a 7-day Bhagavad Sapta class in one of our temples where I was living. And I went there for 7 days to hear classes. And that's where I got attracted to the devotees, their way of life, their presentations, their explanations was excellent. So, and then I received Bhagavad Gita from them. I took the English one. Then I started reading, and this is the first scripture that I started reading. And I started having association of devotees then gradually. So that 434 tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya ubdakshitya jnanam jnaninas tattva darshina. That inspired me a lot. Then I began to know and ask questions to the devotees about, getting a spiritual master. I was interested. And because without the spiritual master, you cannot make any progress in your spiritual life. And without, following all the rules and regulations. So that verse actually helped me a lot and inspired me to take shelter of a guru. And then devotees helped me out with that. And I practiced chanting and all that, following regulative principles, doing Mangala Arati. And that's where I began. And it helped me a lot. And here I am in Krishna conscious due to Bhagavad Gita and that verse. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for a very nice answer. Hare Krishna.
Would you also, if you can, bless, as just before in the intermediate program, we were mentioning about Mayuresh Prabhu here. He's from Maharashtra, Shangli.
Okay.
He's married soon,
All right. Oh yeah, Mayuresh Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yeah, please, if you can bless him, so he can become very nice devotee and make his wife also very nice devotee as time to come,
She is still in India, is she?
Yes, they are all in India. He's also in India. He was in New Zealand.
We are in India, Prabhu.
Back to India.
Oh, you're still in India and joining from there. Wow, great.
Yes, we have team. They are from India. Many of them here.
Oh,
Some are from New Zealand, some are from India. Yes.
So yes, Grihastha life. You are about to get into Grihastha life. It's great. Krishna consciousness is not restricted to anyone. You can perform Krishna consciousness, bhakti yoga in any ashram, whether it's brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, or sannyas. Any of the ashram is ideal for Krishna consciousness. So you can do very well with that, and any obstacles, anything, you can always share with your Siksha Guru. Is able to guide you very ably. So our blessings are with you and all the best. Grihastha life is not bad like some people think. You have you work together and do seva. Krishna must be in the center all the time. Krishna must be center. You try to please him, Radharani, and then you both will be very happy. So our blessings are with you and all the best.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for your kind words and blessings, Prabhu. And thank you for the class as well. It was very informative and very encouraging, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So,
Okay.
Prabhuji, it's great to to know that you have devotees not only from New Zealand but all over. I mean, from India too. You have, you're doing these Zoom classes. You are doing fantastic work. Yeah, I'm very proud of that.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Please keep us in your prayers and blessings, Prabhu. So we have, because of the COVID, we now have online programs and we have our physical programs also.
Mm-hmm.
So Mayuresh, as you spoke to him, he's under the team. His leader is Sheetal Patil on the right, who was given intermediate program.
Right.
So among his team, he is selected to come and listen to our classes, be part of it. So from there, then we move them to beginners level. Then they pass exams, they go to intermediate level.
Mm-hmm.
That's where nectar of instruction, Shisha Upanishad is mentioned, discussed. And then when they write the exams, they go to the leaders program. So
very structured.
Yes,
Well
Prabhu.
structured.
So many of them are from the team of Avinash Krishna Prabhu also.
Mm-hmm.
And many of them are students. They are various background. And very aptly, Sanjeev Prabhu, who was in New Zealand, he is now in India for a month. He is setting up the Kurukshetra preaching program. So as you see here, and he also wants to start, we have a project there for cow protection, farming, cow protection, and a pitching center. So he will be having two centers, one in New Zealand, in Auckland, where he is based as well. He has his team, and he will have one in Kurukshetra as well. And
you're doing so much. So much.
Please
Right.
keep us blessing, Prabhuji. Give us your blessings. We can serve. Even Avinash Prabhu is going now in next week. He is going to India to set up his Chhindwara preaching in Nagpur. He already has online set up very nicely. Devotees are growing very nicely, and he is also giving land to ISKCON to build a temple in Chhindwara. So he's going there to finalize things and set up his cow protection and pitching center too. So this is how we are a bit busy. We cannot come to all the programs in a temple.
Yeah.
There's just no time. We have 7 programs going a week, Prabhuji, and plus physical programs. So wherever we can, we come,
Right. Thank you. Thank you. You're doing so well.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
So with this, we'd like to thank Bilwamangal Prabhu. Always, he's been a very well-wisher of ours and very kind-hearted, he and his wife. And his wife is a very good friend of my wife, and he's a good friend of me. So we have a relationship with this, family to family. And for many years, he has encouraged us. And we wish you to keep coming, Prabhuji, and give us association. And with this new budding devotees, they also like to hear from different angles, different concepts, and gain to their knowledge. And that's how we gain our knowledge as well, purifying everyone.
Definitely. We all learn from each other.
Wonderful. So thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you.
Those of you who are joining us from YouTube, we'll be just stopping this program for about 20 seconds, and that's when we'll start our beginners program. So don't go away. Be there.